All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so happy to have you here this chilly morning. Um, if you don't mind, in the chat box, please feel free to introduce yourself, where you're from, what location, what school, what grade you teach, that kind of fun stuff. That way we can kind of get an idea of who's in the room. And so we're going to talk about unlocking the magic of Book Creator. And if you've never used Book Creator, you're in for a great treat. And if you are a Book Creator fan, hopefully you'll get some great things out of this as well. My name is John Shoemaker. I work for the Department of Educational Technology, and my main role is training teachers, but I also am in charge of Scholastic Esports, the Tech Conference. I do some stuff with Conmigo. We all wear about 100 different hats here in EdTech, so happy to support you guys in any way that we can. And before we get started, we do have a few norms of the meeting. As I mentioned, if you don't mind keeping your mics muted, at the end we can maybe stay after a little bit and unmute if you have questions for one-on-one. But any questions you have up until then, feel free to use the chat box over there. That's where we'll communicate. And don't forget, it doesn't look like we've got groups joining us. Some of our trainings today, we have full groups and media centers joining us. So just remember to enroll in the course if you haven't, and I'll have a link to that at the end. And as I said, we love to see your faces. So if you don't mind turning on your camera, we'd love to see your faces. It's sometimes frustrating to present to a whole bunch of squares with icons in them. So even though we know you're there, we'd love to see you too. So that's totally your choice, though. No pressure on that one. And so with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Janet from Book Creator, and she is going to take us through the platform.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking time to join. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And then that way we will be ready to roll for sure. So I am Janet Burnett, and I am a teacher success manager here at Book Creator. And my job is just to come along beside you and make this the easiest path that it can possibly be to help you figure out how Book Creator looks in your classroom with your students. I can see already from the chat that we've got a wide variety of ages and subject areas and all the things. So I'm excited to share more about Book Creator. If you've used it in the past, I had used it 10 years in my own personal classroom. I still am an adjunct instructor at a local university here, and I use it every single week in that post-secondary, but I know that there are some in your district that are using it with pre-K. So there's very few tools that will actually cover the span that broad and that wide, but this is one of them. So I'm excited to share that with you today. So I'm going to get you to join my library shortly, but we're going to talk about that just a little bit. And I'll help you get in so that you can complete the other parts that John's got designed for you for this session. But before then, I'm just going to give you a quick overview in case we have some people that are brand new to Book Creator. I'll catch you up, kind of give you a quick little overview, and then hopefully we'll get you in and let you start playing with it, because to me, that's really where it does come alive. I did go ahead, and when you join my library, you will have access to all of the resources that I've put in here for you today. But I went ahead and embedded the little module that John had created for this. So if you need directions or for the follow-up, he's going to go over, I'm sure, it is embedded right here, and you'll be able to double click and open that up right here within this screen. But let me go ahead and put this in your hands. This is my email. Easiest one I've ever had as an educator myself. I just retired. I'm in Alabama, so just above you. About almost 2 years ago now, I retired from being in the classroom for years, then being a technology teacher, and then finally ending as a technology innovation specialist for a district. But the easiest email is janet@bookcreator.com. And again, after our session today, if you want to reach out to me personally, that's what I'm here for, is to come along beside you, brainstorm with you, help you come up with solutions that will make this the perfect fit for you. So this is kind of our agenda for today, like why Book Creator, of all the things that are out there. We're going to unpack the tools. And I like to do that in the context of classroom ideas, just because it kind of gets your teacher wheels spinning just a little bit more. And then I'm going to share some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, working with my teachers, discovering things that they've found that work best in their classrooms. And then I'll give you some resources so you can dig a little bit deeper after our time here today. Already we've talked about in this room that we're in today, there are so many different roles that everybody is playing with so many different age groups and content areas. But one thing that we all have in common is a to-do list, and it's usually about a mile long. So you probably already have a good idea of what you're doing next week with your students or what unit's coming next. So hopefully today, this is not going to be one more thing for you to do. We don't have time to add one more thing to our list. We need to be able to take something on our list and learn how to power up that task, increase that student engagement, up the rigor, make it connect to our whole group discussion today, and most important, get valuable feedback from every student in the class, not just those that always have their hand up, but those that may be too shy to raise their hand, the struggling learners, the gifted learners, and everybody in between. So let me start here with what in the world is Book Creator. If you have been in and you've used it before, you will be able to testify that it is a super simple tool. I was just talking to Margot earlier this morning, and I had a teacher in my district who proudly declared she was not techie. And this was the one tool that she used in her classroom, because you don't have to be great with technology to use it. And Margot's using it with her little ones. They are in your district. And when I say simple, it is one button. It is this button here, just like in math, when you want to add something, you use that plus sign. Well, in Book Creator, you hit the plus sign, and then everything is right here in one stop. And that is the beauty of it. When people see this, sometimes they mistaken it for just an elementary tool. But oh my goodness, if that is what you're thinking, it could not be further from that. It's like an onion. You just keep peeling back the layers, and it can be as much or as little as you need it to be to fit your students. We have these, what I call classic Book Creator tools, and these have been around a minute. I mean, about a decade. When I used to work with my second graders a long time ago, they would do a little bit of research. Then they would come into Book Creator, and it was a blank page. And they would put some text, and they would put some images and maybe a quick little drawing. But over time, we have really, really opened up so much potential with the ability to add a camera right on the page. So if you've used Flip or Flipgrid in the past, we know that it went away, and teachers had already discovered the power of video. That's our students' world, right? TikTok, Instagram, that's the way that they communicate. But what I found as an educator is that they will always say more than they'll ever take the time to write. So a lot of times after a whole group discussion, I will just have them turn to the next page in their reading journal or their science notebook. And I will say, hey, add a quick video and tell me 3 things you're taking away from today's lesson. And then they're able to quickly click on that. No prompt, no code, nothing. Just able to add that video right there on the page. And it's like something happens, like they can't help but share. Like they just share more than they mean to. And if they weren't paying attention, they get caught, right? There's no faking a blank page. So they have to come up with something. And you, as the educator, are able then to look and see how deep of their knowledge went. Or did they just talk about the very last thing that I said, or were they paying attention the entire time? Lots and lots of ways that you can use this. And that recording tool, sometimes if they don't feel comfortable in front of a camera, you can still get that valuable feedback, but in a safe way with just their voice. Or I'm going to show you some examples in a minute how they can narrate their work and work on fluency at the same time. So tons and tons of possibility. And then look, we have this media tab over here. I'm going to show you some great things that we've added over this past year. So even if you've used it and you haven't been in it in a while, there's a lot of goodness waiting. And then we also have some partners that we have. Adobe AI Image Generator, we've added that. If you choose to turn it on for your students, You don't have to, but that's another layer of the onion if you want to give your students that. So, super simple way for students to create digital books if they've done research. But I've already kind of hinted that there is a way that you can take a science notebook for the entire semester and just have them make deposits along the way. Or at the same time, a reading journal. After you read with your kids at the carpet today, you can have them go back to their reading journal that lasts all year long, turn to the next page, and they can either draw a picture that goes along with today's story and then come along beside it, and they're able to explain, what's happening in their picture. Or again, pop that little video on there. So many options. So that's a few things that you can do. Now, these seem pretty basic, right? But there's also a little bit more magic that's happening here. So when you see a text box, that seems like, okay, of course, Book Creator is going to have a text box. But when you click into that, you're going to find that we have some accessibility options that really allow you to offer differentiation with little to no worries on your part. So we have speech to text. That's great for littles. It's great for your students that may have academic struggles, or maybe they're just not developmentally ready to type, or they're not as fast as their peers. They can still keep up to pace and get the assignment done by taking away those hurdles. If you have those students, those multilingual students who are still trying to connect the words, right, with the English words with their native language, we have translation. And that is one of the things that within that text box. So what I've done here is I've just kind of copied this little piece of text over here on the side to show you how easy this is. We now have the ability to where teachers can come in, and if you've got dual languages or more than dual going on in your classroom, with a quick click, you can now translate any text on the page. And that way it is now accessible for all of your students. A lot of times they could be the smartest ones in the room, but if you can't communicate back and forth with them from your end and their end, maybe they don't understand the task because they don't have that English proficiency yet. Now this can fill the gaps for them. And you may have noticed that when I clicked on that a new little button popped up. So yes, we have speech to text, but now we also have text to speech. So if they need that extra little bit of boost, scaffolding there for them, they can click here and it will read it to them. And not only will it read it in English, but whatever language they are reading in. So
Creator 是一款简单的工具。
So you can see how that certainly would come into play for them, to benefit for them and you as the teacher. And then another thing that we have is our images, which can be so powerful in building that background knowledge, connecting vocabulary, or just a very, very fun piece for them to be able to add to their blank page if that's the way that you choose to go. We use images from Pixabay, so they're all copyright free. They're big, beautiful images. They're not going to be those tiny little grainy thumbnail versions that your kids pull in sometimes. And you can see that even within this, there's that microphone. So they can come in and they can search with their voice. And if they are that multilingual student, they can even speak it in their own language and it will search in that language as well. So such a benefit for everybody. So I'll demonstrate real quick. Abraham Lincoln. I can just quickly speak it. It's going to pull up some different images here. I'll go with this one here. And then it's going to pop it right there on the page. Now, this one's not so colorful, but I do want to show you that anything in Book Creator can be powered up. So the text, I've already kind of shown you how you can power that up with translation. But anytime you want to improve anything, whether it's text, images, audio, anything like that, there is another little button up here at the top that we call the inspector button. I personally call it the improvement button. So if I want to improve something, improvement starts with an I. I click on that And we even have other little buttons. This is a little bit more of those layers of the onion where I can click remove background. And that's just a small but mighty change that Book Creator has made over the last little while, but you can see how it really makes it pop and adds to that creativity. So that's a little bit about Book Creator. Again, adding that content, super easy for your students. So what does it look like in the classroom? Well, it can look a lot of different ways. Like I showed you earlier, Book Creator, when I used it for years, was just a blank page, and that was my only option. And it was good for that. My students could do amazing things, and I'm going to show you some examples in a second. But then we noticed that teachers were beginning to modify the way that they used it and making those research projects or science notebooks or reading journals that were lasting all year long. So they kind of took on that portfolio feel. And then at the end of the year, you had the ability to publish any book, even this one that I'm sharing from today. I can go in and click the publish button. A little bit of information here. I can keep it private so that it's only the people that I share the link with, or I can turn it to public, meaning it can be searchable on the web, and then other people can begin to read your students' work if that's a way that you want to go. And that gives that authentic purpose, that authentic audience. And they step up their game really, really fast once they know that that is an option. And then all you have to do is quickly click that button, and it will give you a link that can be shared. Or when we would make Mother's Day cards, for example, we would do it in Book Creator, and then it will even make the QR code for you. So we would have the kids decorate around it, sign their name, and then we would put it in their homeschool communication folder so that when their parents scanned it with their phone, then they had the ability to hear their baby talking to them in those videos and those sound clips. So that is one way it can be used. Another way it can be used is with templates. So right here in the plus button, if you move over just slightly to the media tab, we have had our Discovery library for years that already has pre-made templates that you can just make a copy of and then use them with your students. But I love the way that they have changed it over this past year by adding page templates. So I always don't need a complete book for my kids to do. I might just need something at the end of today's whole group lesson. So if you come in, if you have the paid version, you're going to get over 900 options. And I don't even know if I can think of 900 things. So I like to go through here all the time and just look and see what's in here. But even if you don't, if you're just using the free version, you're still going to get 40 free books. You're going to get a library, and you're going to get a sample of the templates. So if I go in here and I search free, what it will do is it will bring all of those up to the surface. And then something as simple as this one here is click added to the page. Now my students can use this. I can go in and I can kind of customize this and power it up a little bit. Statue of Liberty. So if we've done a whole group lesson today with the Statue of Liberty, I can quickly add a little bit of clip art here. That's going to keep them on task, kind of remind them. If I wanted to power that up, I could even improve it by going in and adding a hyperlink to maybe a Google Street View of the Statue of Liberty, or a video maybe that will give them more information about that. Or maybe it's a research article. I can go ahead and hyperlink that in. So when they click on the picture, it also puts the source right here on the page. And then the students can give their feedback in any of these ways. So yes, they can certainly type, like is the custom way, but they also have that speech to text, or that text to speech to text going either way. So it can read it to them, and then they can add their responses that way. But just as easily, they could draw in these little boxes. They can add a quick camera and just make it fit into this area, which is much faster and much more telling a lot of the time. So a blank page can be an obstacle for a student. So sometimes just offering a little bit of scaffolding, that is a wonderful way to make sure that you get the feedback that you need from those students. So I want to show you just really quickly an example. I like to show this example. This is a second grader. This is Winston. And Winston has been doing a little bit of research on bears. So he started with a blank page, but you can see as I flip here that Winston has done a great job at creating, putting his information in. He has layered all the tools. Winston wanted to use everything. So you can see he's used the images here. He's used that drawing tool to label. I know as an educator, and you probably have spotted as well, his teacher was probably working on text features. So here's his table of contents, his labels, his images. He's even taken a picture with that camera of a map that he colored at his desk and then added the key with a drawing tool. So his creativity is coming out. I can tell something about Winston that he is not the struggling student, right? He's layered all the things, and you know he used that camera for that selfie, all about the author page. But I can look through here and tell that Winston knows a lot about bears. His creativity was allowed to be used, but when I heard Winston, and what I mean by that is he went in and recorded his voice, and I hope you can hear this. Sometimes it's tricky on a meet, but I'll try.
Diet. Growl. That's the sound of a bear. If you want to learn more about bears, keep reading to find out. First, bears eat fish.
So to me, I hope you were able to hear that, but Winston's voice tells me as a student, number one, he's very fluent, right? But if he was a struggling student, I would have heard the hesitation. I would have heard the pause. I would have heard the struggle. So I can use my educator expertise in that. But let me tell you something about this. Winston's parents, they are going to get a copy of this. And in a couple of years, Winston's voice is going to change, and they're still going to have that preserved, and a sweet journey of, you know, his educational journey is saved and preserved. And plus, he can send that to grandparents. He can share it with his friends. You can take a QR code and put it on a bulletin board outside and share that with his friends as well. So just so many options about how you can use this in your classroom. But that is Winston's idea of that. Now, I'm going to get you in just a second, but I want to show you a secondary example. And this one, same blank page, but you can tell completely different output. So different content, different presentation, you know, just to kind of show you the ability and the broad spectrum that Book Creator can offer that. And then I also know that with some of you, you have littles, or maybe you're doing group projects. So here is an example of where a teacher kind of directed the littles, but they were able to come back in and they were able to make videos or just record their voice right on top of a picture. Super simple, but still being able to tell what and show what they've learned in that project. Now, going back in, I want to show you very quickly how easy it is to use Book Creator. So I have this library here, and I'm just going to demonstrate in less than a minute how Winston can make a book. So all you're going to do is once you're in a library, you'll click on Book. You're going to be able to click on the size and the shape you want. Then you're going to improve that white page. So Winston wanted to use one of these backgrounds. Now there are more calmer options down here, just so you know. Then he was able to go into images, grizzly bear. Very quickly, able to kind of go through here, choose just the right image that worked for him. In Winston's defense, we did not have the remove background button, because I'm sure he would have done that. But you can see the difference there, just how that really makes that pop. And then you're able to click text and add it very quickly. Grizzly bear. So really in less than a minute, I'm able to put together my cover. Your students are going to be able to do the same. I didn't have to type a thing. Everybody's able to use it. And then all Winston has to do is click this little arrow right here, and he has a page that's ready to go. If he needed a little help or wanted to do a collage, we also have these little panels that are really nice option to kind of give them a little bit of variety. They can click here and then add straight within, and it will conform to these size pieces. So just know that there's a lot of options here. All right. Now, with that, anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. We're going to keep moving because I want to get you connected. So you can kind of see that lots of options for ways that you can use it. Here's a way that a teacher, Shannon McClintock Miller, some of you may know her in the librarian world. She does this with her second graders, where they actually do a little research on paper, just like normal paper pencil. And then she puts in a little scaffold for them so that they know what she wants in each box. So know that that is an option. And then we've also talked about how you can come in and just use it as an exit ticket. So it does not always have to be a book. There, I said it. It's Book Creator. I know. But sometimes a teacher just needs an exit ticket at the end of a unit. So it can be 1 or 2 pages. And then you have the ability, here's an example that I was talking about earlier. Once I design what I want for my kids, and again, remember, all I have to do to make this accessible for other students is just copy and paste that. And now I can click it here and it works for everybody in the room in seconds. But I can click right here at the top. I'm not going to publish it like I did Winston's book, but I'm going to assign it. And in that case, this is a relatively new feature from Book Creator. What it will do is it will take whatever you've designed as the teacher, whether it's 1, 2 pages or 10-page template, and it will make a copy for everybody in your room with a click of a button. So that's been a real game changer here at Book Creator, and you can just kind of see how it can look different ways. One other thing is that you can record your voice to scaffold for your students. Not only can they use it, but you can use it. So if you have those students that need that extra support, as quick as you can read it, you've offered it. And one more thing is when I record that in my Alabama voice, I can go over and I can improve that by translating that over to another language very easily. And then I can't speak Vietnamese fluently, but I can today.
Đây là bản ghi âm mẫu với giọng nói này.
So all I have to do is click translate and it will do that right here below. And then I can change that so that that student recognizes that anytime they see this red, it's going to be in their language and they'll be able to understand, and it will also put the transcript there. So let's get you connected. Here's a few other examples as we get to the page where we're going to connect. Our goal is to make learning visible and give every student a voice. So I believe, John, I put this in here. I believe that Book Creator can now be found not in the portal.
Yeah,
So
it is in the portal, but it seems like maybe some job codes it's not there. So it should be in the portal.
Okay.
If
All right.
not, I was explaining they can just go to the bookcreator.com right now and log in, and then we will make sure whatever jobs that were missed, that it's not in the portal to do that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about sign in real quick. The first thing, when you go to app.bookcreator.com or just bookcreator.com, it's going to be on that yellow page, which is the student sign-in page. You want to make sure as a teacher, we get really excited and miss this part, but there is a switch to teacher underneath that. And you want to make sure that you click on that and get to that blue background as a teacher. And then you should be able to do that single sign-on there with your school email. All right. When you go in as a teacher the first time, it is going to prompt you to create a library. And with that, Don't get caught up on that part today. Just you can always go in there and rename it. And if you have the paid version, you're going to get unlimited libraries. If you have the free version, you're going to have a library that you're going to be able to work with 40 books. If you have the paid version, which some do in the district, you will have up to 1,000 books. So lots and lots of options there. Your students will not be able to create libraries. They will need to join a library. But just know that every single library that you have is going to have different library settings. So I always like to point that out. So this is a library that I've created for you today. And you'll notice that there's this little gear up here in the top right. And I can come in and there are some things that a lot of things I can control. Like, can they have spell check? Translate is not naturally on by default. That is something you have to switch on. So just know that. And then you have control over how much or how little they can translate. The same with speech to text and text to speech. So I just want to kind of go over that. And then comes the time for us to get you connected. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add to Students. And you guys are going to join my library. It's not going to mess up because you're a teacher. Because we're online today, I'm just going to pop it in the chat. And that way, it will make it a little easier for you. You should just be able to click on that link. And that will help you automatically join my library. And you'll get all
the
of these.
easiest thing is to go through the portal first, right? Do they have to authenticate first?
It will prompt them to do that, I believe,
okay.
when they click on that.
Perfect.
Yes. I'll give you just a second there. If you just want to sit and get right now and go in and do this at a later time, just snap a quick picture of this code. I'm going to leave the library open. You'll still have the resources or jot it down. Okay. So now that you've got the code there, your students are going to join your classroom in the same way. You can push that out through a LMS, or they will be able to click on these 3 little lines up here in the top left, and they can go, and there will be a little button that says Join a Library, and that's where they would put in that code. You can do it the same way, just whatever's easiest for you. Usually the link is easier if we're online. And then now that we are in there, up here at the top, do not miss this. We have added this little button here. So if I click on the little people here in the middle, I can see the authors, and these are the people that have already joined the library. Now this will continue to populate as people continue to join, but this is a really good view. Now you guys don't have any books yet, but I'm about to fix that. So you're in the library. Let's just say that John is a resource teacher, or he's a teacher across the hallway, and we want to work with our students together. I could actually go in and I can promote John to a co-teacher. So what's going to happen is now John's going to be able to get in here and read everybody's books. He can go in, he'll be able to make assignments and things such as that. But I have promoted him to a co-teacher. So with that, I'm going to hop back out. And I'm going to show you how you can use this in your classroom. So here is an example of a template that I have created to kind of give my students a little bit of structure without really putting them in a box. This is going to make sure and ensure that they know what they're going to do. So all they have to do is just double click here. And then if they want to change it to an elephant, they would just retype elephant there. So they don't have to worry about font, different things like that. It's a good way to get started. Here at the bottom, they can click here and erase name and put in their name. And then they have the ability, once they have a copy of it, it's going to allow them to go in and add images like we showed earlier. They're going to be able to add text, add anything that they really want to here. Now you'll notice I've also used this little space over here on the side. So here, if you click on Pebble Go link, it will actually open up, because remember I was telling you earlier how you can add a hyperlink. So I'm able to add my resource in right here for the students, and then they will be able to do this parallel. All right. And then you can kind of see I've put a little bit of structure in here, kind of prompted them just a little bit. And so to add that, I want them to record their favorite thing about their animal. I went in and used icons. So I just went in and typed Mike and chose the one that matched the drop-down window here. So that way, if they need those visual cues, it is there as well. And remember, because I was using this little panel feature where I could kind of give them a quick little layout, they're able to click here and search from right there within that template. All right, so that is an example, but I do know that you are going to be asked to create something as evidence from this session. So what I did is I went ahead and I created your teacher takeaways template today. Now, certainly you can go in and you can change anything about this. Like I've asked for you to add a selfie on here. So what you would do is go into the camera, take a quick pic. All right. And then click use picture. It pops it right here on the page, but I want to remove that background. So I can click on the eye and remove from there. And now I've kind of customized this just for me. Kids love this. I know we don't so much, so we won't worry about glamour shots. We'll just get something on here. And then you can add your own little touches to it if you want. You can double click and add your name. I'm going to take that away so that it doesn't make a copy for everybody. And then I've kind of given you a little safe space to think about a lesson that you're going to be teaching soon. So you can come in, you can add your text here. You're going to be able to come here and add an image that could be used as a hook, a visual hook for a topic you're going to be covering soon with your students. And then I love to do this with students is give them a background or a background image here. And then ask, what are 2 details you notice in the picture? So that's getting that feedback going. So you can just record your voice on top of that.
And Janet, real quick,
Yeah.
Can I have you just go back to the, yep. So everyone, if you're a little lost, you're going quick for some people. If
Gotcha.
you're a little lost, when you click that link, she actually gave you into a library of books, not just that first one that says Grizzly Bear.
True.
So if you get to that Grizzly Bear book, which she's showing you, there's arrows at the bottom. The arrows at the bottom take you to all the other books that you have access to, right? And then each one has its own, that they're templates, I'm assuming, right? For everyone, so that if you edit it, it's not editing everyone's, right?
Yeah, so I'm about to make an assignment. So right here, you should be able to scroll across here. Thanks, John, for doing that. You should be able to scroll across here and find this book. But right now, you can only look at it, right? You don't have the little button, but I'm about to change that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open this up as the teacher because y'all are my students. I'm going to click right here on the share button, and I'm going to click assign. And when I do this, it's going to be a little bit of magic. All right, so what's going to happen is I'm going to click a start assignment. Now, if I just wanted to give this to Bernita and Carolyn, I could just click their names and it would only make them a copy. But today I'm giving it to everyone. So I'm going to click start assignment. And now I'm going to hop over and show you what is happening in my library. If you can see the screen, what Book Creator is doing is it just is making a copy for every single person that is in this library right now. And they'll begin to populate in just a minute. And that way, you can only see your copy and my copy. But when you hover over, you're going to see that it's putting everybody's name on it. So here's Jennifer's copy. So Jennifer, when you hover over it, there's a little pencil, and you'll be able to click on that pencil, and then you'll be able to come in and have that little plus button so you can begin to edit yours. Here's May Rose. She came in. It made hers automatically. Now, if Sam is absent today, As soon as Sam comes in tomorrow, it is going to make him his copy. I don't have to remember that as a teacher, and I'm so thankful for that. So he won't miss out on what he missed in class yesterday. So if I've put in a video or something like that on the page, he will still have access to that information and be able to edit it. So what I'd like for you to do is find your copy. Go ahead and click on the little pencil and take a picture of yourself and add a selfie to the front cover.
And if those of you that don't have them, you can also always just take any picture of yourself and add it later by uploading it. So
yep, you sure
some
can.
people's cameras aren't working, they're struggling.
Gotcha. So in that case, if you go to images, you'll be able to upload from your computer here.
I'm also assuming they could go on like an iPhone or an Android device and then upload from there, go to that book and upload as well. Yep. Okay.
Well, it is harder to edit a book on the phone. You can sign up for an account, but not really edit a book.
Gotcha. So just share your picture to your computer and then upload it. There you go.
Yes. So I kind of took what John was looking for, and I've kind of built this out for you. So if you'll just kind of do each one of these pages, I've even put in, you'll notice on your copy, I've put in some tutorial videos over here. So if you want to go back after we're finished today and you need help with some of the things that we've talked about, you'll be able to have those tutorial videos here to help you. And then again, this will kind of customize things and get your wheels turning for how you can use it in your classroom. But that is such a difference maker as far as the different features. You don't have to start from a blank page anymore. I've kind of given you a little bit to build on here. You just kind of fill it in, but still have that creativity. And then one of the other pages is I've asked you to go into templates. And I've put here under the media tab, so just to remind you here, and find one that will work for your students in your lesson. And then I know that we've gone kind of fast because it is a quick session, but you'll find at the end of your template that has your name on it that you're working in right now, I have embedded 2 books here, and it is a getting started book. So if you want to focus on accessibility or multilingual learners, all you have to do is click on that book, and it's going to show you step by step how to do the sign-in, how to create a book, how to format the content, all the things that I've talked about today, but it's got pictures and instructions with it. So hopefully, I can see that you guys are working in the library here. All right, so I see, let me go back in here and double check my assignment here. I'll give you just another couple of minutes here to work. And then I'm going to show you one of my favorite things that we have just added. It's hot off the press. I believe it is coming in and it's making everybody their copy. Renita's got hers. I'm just double checking, making sure everybody's got it. Okay, Jennifer, I see your picture there. Good job on that. All right. And I know you're actively working, but I also know that our time is fleeting and I need to leave some time for John at the end. So I want to give you a quick heads up about, it could be my favorite feature of Book Creator yet. I have begged for this for years before I even worked at Book Creator. And the day that I was hired on, I was like, please, let's make this happen. And that is the ability to see all of your students' work with a click of a button. Up until just recently, just a week and a half ago, you had to go into every individual student's book to see their work. But now, let me just say, this is my biggest teacher gift ever from today's session. Right up here at the top, just next to the people button where I was able to see you earlier, right? Who all's in there. There is a new button. And if you're in another tab, go ahead and click back over here because this is a game changer. We have a new button here at the top. It is a little piece of paper with a pencil, and we call it Class View. And what happens here is as soon as I click on this button, it is going to open up every student's book. And I'm going to be able to see their name here. I'm going to be able to see when it was last edited. And I can scroll over and see everybody's pages. So as you begin to work and fill this in, I'm able to come in and I can even filter that assignment. So if I only want to see the one that I pushed out today, not Winston's book that I made, but just the ones that you as my students are working on, then I can kind of scroll through here. I can see that Margot's already got her picture on here. She's added her quote. I can see that some are still working on that or are going to come back and do it later. I can see Jen has edited her name. I can see that she's added in her picture. I can see that May Rose has edited her name, but her picture's not showing up just yet. So in live time, I'm going to be able to scroll across. If you're using it as a science notebook, I can scroll across and just see what you've done today, not previously in the semester. And to me, such a game changer, this Class View has added. So with that, I'm going to pause right there. I have put other things in this library to give you ideas of different ways. There's a Sparks book that I've added that's got some different ways that I've used it and teachers in my district have used it, but just to kind of give you more resources to explore after our time today. But I'm going to ask right now, is there anybody who would like to unmute and ask a question? Let me show something again. I know, again, it's like an onion. So just taking the experience of what you can do and try one thing, whether it is a blank book you get your kids to do, or whether it's just one page that you push out and make a copy for all of your students. You just have to decide what's best for you. And I love seeing you work. So John, do you want to talk about what they do with this book?
Yep, sure thing. So, and maybe you leave yours up for 1 second. Okay. And so whenever if you're looking to get points, we can do 2 points for this session. What you're going to do is take the book that Janet just shared, this yellow one that you are creating, right? And we are going to need you to give us the link to it. And so Janet is showing right now when you're in your book, and if you want, again, this is only for points. If you want to turn it into us so we can see that you did the work, you're just going to hit the share button and then hit publish. And there are a few things that you fill out that you have to put in there. And then you don't have to make it public if you don't want. That's like if you want Google to be able to find it. You don't have to do remixes because we're not going to remix it. All we're trying to show is that you have learned how to use Book Creator. You hit it's published, and then you just copy the link. And in ELM, it will create a copy of the Google Doc for you. Just pop your link in there. And then I believe there's like a 3 to 5 sentence that you have to answer. And then we have directions on how to make that a PDF. And then you just turn it in ELM. Yeah, so anything that you've done in your book, Olga, it saves automatically, right? Mm-hmm. So we should be able to see her book, right?
Okay.
Were you working in the yellow one, Olga?
In here and see if I can find, let me just go straight here.
There we go. There you go. Yep. So see everything you did there, even though it's in Janet and I see it as well because I'm a co-teacher, it's there.
I think, let me go back and make sure that I gave her a copy of that. I think I might have hit something at the wrong. Let me go here. All right. Yeah. Let me do that. Okay. And let's see. I think it just made her a copy.
I see it. Yeah. Okay. Teacher takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just making her one now.
Okay. Yes. Sorry
Okay.
about that. I hit the wrong button when I did it. I knew I did when I did it.
That's okay. So Olga, now you should get that yellow book that you saw. We saw the one that you were making on your own and tried to catch up. Apologies for that. But now you should see this one that's already a template. And that's what's great about this is as an educator, you can also build your own template and share it out to students like she did to us. And, you know, you can have like close activities, fill in the blank, those kind of things for kids to not have to build their own book from the beginning. So, yeah. So, Olga, hopefully you see that book now that she shared with you. Perfect. Yeah. And so for the homework, you're just going to go in and there is in module 2, an implementation guide that our team kind of does it all the same in that Google Doc. You just write in your response. And then all we ask is a book that started with a template. So we already got that, check. We want you to insert an image, insert text, insert a recording, and then some sort of shape, arrow, icon, or emoji. And that's it, is all we need for the points. And then you'll just publish it. And all the directions are on that implementation sheet. And so it should be easy to access too.
Awesome.
Don't see it. Okay. That's okay. We can hang out after if you need us to. And make sure it's probably in the top left corner. You'll probably have to go to the shared libraries if you went into a different place. But yeah, just give us a second. We'll finish up at the end here, and then we can work on that one, right?
Oh, awesome. And I'm also going to slide this one. I'm going to rearrange them here so that you'll be able to find everything easily as we go through. Yeah, and then that way, the book from today will naturally show up right at the top. And so you can go back and refer to it as well. But please know that you are welcome to reach out to me even after our time today. It's Jana@bookcreator.com, and I will be glad to help you however I can. I cannot wait to see how you are going to use this. And I'm actually going to be there in your district January 5th, I believe, on a PD day. So
oh, you are? Okay, good.
I'll be there.
For the early childhood?
I am coming for librarians that day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're at Library Media. So Library Media has access as well. Fantastic.
So I love that. And if you want me to hop over and meet with you one-on-one, happy to do it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me today, John.
Yes, thank you so much, Janet. We appreciate you. And so we wanted to bring this to you. We've been using Book Creator literally since the day it came out, I believe. I have been since it was on iPad. So if you don't mind sticking around for just another few minutes while I share some final thoughts. Don't forget, if you need to get into the Book Creator course for today, that is the link. You should have gotten that link just to get here, though. That's how you enroll in the course for today. Also, just went live on Monday. We have a Book Creator Certified Author course as well. So it's another 2-point course. It takes you through Book Creator Certified Author program. So you just go through and you watch all the videos. It's kind of a little bit like what we did today, only a lot more in depth. It gets you step by step. And then you get the great Book Creator Certified badge. And then you can actually just turn that in for 2 more points as well. And that course is in ELM as well if you search for Book Creator. So please feel free to do that. And then we have been asking, if you don't mind, to please share your feedback. So if you're on a computer, I just put the link over, the chat's that way, over in the chat over there. So feel free to give us some feedback on our sessions today. You can just click it in another tab and then come back real quick as we finish up the last few slides here. But we definitely want to see what you thought of our sessions today. We also have our stay in touch slide if you want to grab a screenshot, or I throw all the links in the chat to you. The most important one, obviously, is our mailing list. We have a mailing list that we send email blasts out once or twice a month based on what's coming up on our team. We know a lot of you may hear from your principal or from the superintendent update, but we've heard a lot of teachers don't get the superintendent updates that we send out all the time. So we have actually started building our own mailing list since the pandemic started. And so we just email out every once in a while what's coming up on our team. We have also had opportunities in the past for paid sessions where you can come to an hour session and get paid for it after school. So we do the proper channels of sending out the information, but like I said, we know you don't always get that. So we also send that out through our mailing list. So that's a big one to sign up on our mailing list. We also have our website, which is where all of our resources are, our X account and our YouTube account as well. So feel free to follow us in all of those places. And then we also have our 25th annual technology conference. So it's kind of crazy that the conference has been around for 25 years. It started in 1998, even though it was not 25 years ago. We had some hurricanes and some pandemics, so but this is the 25th one we'll actually be having in person. So we're excited about that. And we always need presenters. So if you loved what you saw with Book Creator, you can always do a session on Book Creator, or you can do a session on something that you love technology-wise that you want to share with your peers. It's a great opportunity. We are doing breakfast. We're doing lunch. We've got lots of prizes to give away. So yeah, lots of fun stuff there. And registration will also open January 1st. So that will go out in our mailing list. So registration opens January 1st, but we have now, if you're interested in presenting. And so on behalf of the entire EdTech team, we appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. We are here to assist you any way we can. Our website has lots of stuff for you to be supported in any application that we support on our team. But you're always welcome to reach out to any of us on the EdTech team. And if we can't find the answer or we don't know the answer, we will find the person who has the answer for you. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us, and you are more than welcome to log out. And if you have questions, Janet and I will hang around for a little bit. Thank you and have a great